Hello, Amazing Race fans. So I've been thinking for a while about teams that should be brought back for another unfinished business season, and I just wanted to share my ideas for 11 teams in the case that they had an unfinished business next season. So basically a few teams from season 19, a few teams from season 20, a few teams from season 21, a few teams from season 22, and I think would make for an interesting season. So let's show the teams that I think. First, let's start with season 19. From season 19, the first team that I think would be good for if unfinished business was next season would be Pro Snowboarders, Andy and Tommy. Just because of the fact that they finished fourth, but I think a lot of people thought they would have won the whole thing if it wasn't for their mistake on the way to the pit stop in Panama, where they overlooked some pivotal information, which as it shows right here, resulting in their elimination. And honestly, I think fans of the Amazing Race would love to see Andy and Tommy back for a second time round, because I think they could have definitely won season 19. Let's get to our next team, our next possibilities. Let's get to grandparents Bill and Kathy. So Bill and Kathy, honestly, I would say, even though they didn't have probably as much of an epic elimination as maybe some other teams, they were so well liked in season 19 that I think fans of the Amazing Race would love to see Bill and Kathy come back and compete again, just because they started off at the bottom and really worked their way up to the top. And hopefully, if they're brought back, hopefully they finish first at least once, because judging on this, they never finished first at all during season 19. So I would love to see Bill and Kathy back for an unfinished business season. There's one more team from season 19 that I believe could be brought back, and that would be siblings Justin and Jennifer. Just because I think they were really doing well for a while on the race, and I think that one mistake at the roadblock, with Jennifer not figuring out to go back to the location that she started at to get her next clue, I think if they hadn't made that mistake, it's very possible that they could have gone a lot farther than they did. Because you look at the placings, 3rd, 8th, 4th, 2nd, 4th, 2nd, and then 7th, it's like, who knows? Well, it'll be interesting to find out if they were to get brought back for an unfinished business season. It would be very interesting, I think. So let's go on to our next season. Let's go on to season 20 here. Now that we got those three teams. Let's go on to season 20. And here there's three teams here that I think would be good for this. The first team that I think would be good is Border Patrol agents, Art and JJ. Now, I don't know how many people were fans of Art and JJ. I know I wasn't a big fan of them, but I honestly think that, based on how they lost, just at that final roadblock costing them, I think that creates enough of an issue there that really killed them when they really did have a shot at being Rachel and Dave. And I think they are a very strong team because of the fact that they were able to get three back-to-back first-place finishes. Any team that does that is a strong team in my book. So I think it would be interesting to see Art and JJ back for a second time And it would be interesting to see if they start any more issues with anybody like they did with Brendan and Rachel and Dave back in season 20. So let's go back to season 20 and find out what the second team of mine is. The second team, I think, was the most well-liked team in the Amazing Race season 20. You guessed it, best friends Bopper and Mark. There goes the phone again.
Call from Marvin Evolution.
Sorry about that. I just figured it's a good idea. It was a good idea to pause it this time while the phone rings. Well, back to this now. Now, Bopper and Mark, I think everybody can honestly say that they were definitely inspired by Bopper and Mark's story back in season 20. And I think the main reason they got eliminated was that one roadblock. It's like Bopper was injured, Mark was kind of going on a little heat exhaustion from the whole thing, and it was basically just a series of bad luck. It wasn't good for them, and you know what? They really deserve a second chance just because they hit such bad luck in India. And the fact is, I think if they had a bunching point in the leg they were eliminated, they may have been able to catch up. They would have probably been able to catch up. But the fact that there was no bunching point left the fact that even with the fast forward, it wasn't enough to catch up. And I think, as I've said, I think fans would love to see, would definitely love to see them back for a second chance at winning the $1 million. So let's go back. And the last team that I think from season 20 should be brought back is trainer and club promoter Joey Fitness and Danny. So I think this one may confuse a few people because you wonder, oh, why these guys specifically? Well, if anything, you look at how they came in last, the fact that they lost the fast forward challenge to Rachel and Dave. That's the fact that they were moving. You could see they were moving up from 10th to 8th to 3rd to staying in 3rd there, and then 2nd place. They were definitely on their way to a 1st place finish, and I think they would have been able to do it if it wasn't for losing that fast forward challenge. So I think in that case, that is definitely some unfinished business by Joey Fitness and Danny. And that's why I think they should get brought back if there's an unfinished business season. Alright, now we got those 3 teams. Let's move on to the next season, season 21. Now I got 3 teams also from this season that I think should be brought back also. So let's start with the first team, which I think should be dating couple Trey and Lexi. And the reason why I think Trey and Lexi should get a second chance if there's an unfinished business season is because they were the first team at that final roadblock. And the fact that they couldn't figure out that Lexi couldn't figure out what the flags were, it was bad luck on their part, and I think if they got a second chance, it would be definitely finishing what was unfinished business from their previous season. It would definitely be interesting to do that because I think people loved Trey and Lexi on the first time around because they were like they were like the team that everybody thought, oh, they're the cutesy couple and everything. But you know what? I feel like they have some real gameplay in them that they didn't use in that first time. Actually, now that I think about it, they kind of did use it a little bit because they were assisted the Chippendales in the U-turn against Abby and Ryan. So I think if they're invited back for a second chance, I think they'll probably show more of that gameplay. I think it would be interesting. Overall, I think it would be interesting if Trey and Lexi were brought back. The second team from season 21. Speaking of that U-turn, the second team that I think should be brought back is is it pronounced divorcees or divorcees? I've never been able to figure that out. But yeah, Abby and Ryan definitely. Because of the fact that that U-turn really screwed up what was probably a really strong team. And a team that really could have won this thing. So that's why they should really be in there competing with some of the best teams. Because of the fact that they were really driven to win. They were a team that was really going strong. Had came in the top 2 for the majority of the legs actually, which is very impressive for a team that was eliminated in 5th place. And I think the fact that they got U-turned by James and James, that definitely applies for unfinished business as far as it goes. And I think it would be interesting if Abby and Ryan were brought back. So let's get to the last team from the Amazing Race 21 because we are starting to run low on time. Next is James and Abba. Now James and Abba, the fact that they lost their passport the fact that they lost their passport really screwed them up, and I think if it hadn't been for that, who knows? They could have very well gone farther in the competition, which is why I think they deserve a second chance at the race. Even though they weren't the most exciting team, I think they deserve a second shot just because of that. Let's go back, and then we're going to go to Season 22, which I got 2 teams for, not 3 teams, so we complete out to be 11 teams. Next team, I think this is an obvious one. Dave and Connor, obviously. For obvious reasons, the fact that they had to withdraw due to Dave's injury, that is easily a big enough reason for them to get a chance at this season, at another season of unfinished business, because they have probably the most unfinished business of any team that has ever competed on the show, actually. And then let's go to the last team that we have, dating couple Jessica and John. And you think, why Jessica and John? I think why not? Because they were a strong team in those first 3 legs, and the thing is, their mistake is just so laughable. It would be a shame not to bring them back, just because it was just too funny to pass. It's just too funny a mistake to pass up, bring back for unfinished business. So I would love to see everybody else's opinions. Please post your opinions in the comments section below this video. I would love to see maybe if there's different teams that you could think of. That would interest me to see that. I hope to see your comments. Enjoy the video and have a good one.